Not everyone's a force of nature like she is.
You can never accuse her of not knowing how to show someone a good time.
Oh, it's
How was it to come back to those costumes? That looks probably fantastic, but I can bet that they are not comfortable at all.
They
I'll
are
let Sophie
not
go first.
comfortable.
No.
Yeah. I think I get the rough end of the deal here. To mine, it's amazing how wide you become with those the enormous sleeves, and you forget. You're so right, because you wear them, you moan about them, and then you see them and you think, God, they're spectacular. And Tom Pye, our incredible designer, has done such a beautiful job. And then you're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get my costume back on and feel like Anne Walker again. And then you put it on and you remember how uncomfortable it is. And I was pregnant when we started shooting the second series, so I mean, poor Suranne had to listen to me complain a lot about how miserable I was, and I was just getting wider this way and sort of wider out the front, wasn't I? It was a Teletubby by the end.
I think because it's corseted as well. I kept saying so, what part of you is corseted? Because that belly's getting bigger, and like what? Like, and she's like, no, it's fine. I think they made you like a top part, and then you had a hole, and then so you were able to grow into the costumes. They're so clever, and Tom is brilliant, and obviously worked with Sophie, around all of that. And then in the same respect, Tom worked with me on because I'm corseted too, but Anne Lister does so much walking and climbing and digging, and so they had to give me like a power net that ballet dancers wear, so that I was able to move around a bit more. So yeah, they're amazing. The first season was shot in the summer, so being Anne Lister in the summer is not clever or good for anybody involved, because I was just moaned all the time. But it was colder this time round, so I was quite happy to have the big coats and stuff. The studio, some of the studios were quite cold, weren't they?
Yeah.
That we were in, and then it was cold outside as well. So yeah, I liked the big coats. But you're right, they look fantastic, and praise Tom Pye for that.
They're beautiful. And I'm also curious, were you surprised after the first season how big impact the show has on a society and how people react to it in a very positive way?
Our fans are beautiful. We have a great conversation with our fans. We know how important the show is. We're so proud to be allies and to have the responsibility of telling this story. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to have that reaction and to feel like you're making a difference.
Because it's not a show that we actually can say it's was created only for the entertainment. It's a piece of history showing how it was, and showing right now people that you don't have to feel out of place. You're in the good place that you should be, and this show shows it, that you can actually take care of your life and live it how you want it, not how the society wants to do.
Absolutely. And that core message there is what I think makes people respond to it, whether you're a gay woman or whether you're not. It's about being honest with who you are, and if figuring out who you are and living honestly with yourself and not being afraid to do that. And it's about acceptance and diversity, and that's what I think people have responded to on such a big scale. It's a sort of a remarkable thing. I think I feel really moved by how, when people talk about Anne Walker, my character, and they get so protective of her, and they're like, no, we have to bring her back and give her her rightful place back in history. People should know about her. I find that so moving, because I felt like that, and I know Sally and the whole team felt like that. But to have the audience kind of stand up for Anne Walker as well, it's an extraordinary thing. And there's no guarantee when you're making something that people will feel like that. So it was a real, I think it's such a privilege, and it's such a joy, isn't it, to think that people love the show.
And in the second season, we can see it goes wider. It opens with your travel. And I'm curious, from this season, if you could find your favorite part, what would it be?
Oh, that scene is so beautiful, isn't it? Like, and it just shows that from the first season, where Anne Walker was kind of like kept in the cage in that beautiful kind of gilded little room on the sofa with, you know, the birds on the wallpaper, and then we open her up to the world. And, you know, Anne Lister just kind of gave her this wonderful life that she, you know, formerly didn't have. And so I love that. Although we didn't actually get to see that. Obviously, that's a lot of CGI. But I saw it, and I was really moved by what Anne Lister did for Anne Walker in that sense. Gosh, we were together a lot, and I just think, you know, my memory will be that during the pandemic, when times were difficult, me and Sophie clung on to each other, and we had a wonderful friendship that got us through, and we had a lot of hard times together. But boy, did that make us stronger as a couple and as friends.
And this season also opens up for the technology thing. We can see the railway as something new going further. So we can see your character trying to get on the trends. And it's not so far from what we have today, that all the businessmen has to be on the trends.
Do you remember that day, Sophie? That was quite fun, wasn't it?
We were on the train. We were just going back and forth along this train track. We didn't want to get out of the carriage. We were like, just take us back.
It was actually raining that day, wasn't it? Because all the our brilliant supporting artists, obviously the carriage with they had the umbrellas and stuff. But I mean, that was the birth of the railway, you know, in Halifax. It was so exciting. You're in for a treat. There's a brilliant dinner scene. And I just say that Marion is the star of it.